Hi guys, I'm with Jenna Potter, who's from Publicifi, and she's come all the way over to Brighton from Ontario in Canada.
Yes.
So, and Jenna does a very similar thing where she helps a lot of bands. She works with a lot of bands out in Canada, does a lot of social media and PR and helping bands with marketing and stuff. So I thought while she's in Brighton, I've stolen her, gonna pick her brains. So,
Perfect.
how are you finding Brighton so far?
I love Brighton. There's so much going on, and it's a beautiful city. It kind of reminds me of like an English version of Miami, which...
I have not been to Miami.
No, but just the sea and the houses, it just has a very like tropical vibe.
Yeah, but you've been here before.
I've been here very briefly on tour last year in April, so
that's quite
the
cool.
weather was a bit nicer.
Yeah, it's very cold, freezing cold.
Yeah, exactly.
So, your background, you've been helping bands, but you studied in this country.
I did. I studied at the University of Leeds for just 1 year.
Yeah.
I was doing media and comm, but there's a lot of music courses in Leeds, so that's actually why I went there.
Right.
Because my main focus is music, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you love the music.
I love music.
And then how did you make that jump from the kind of marketing and sort of marketing media and social media into actual band, helping the bands out?
Well, I love bands to begin with. I love going to gigs, so I just figured how can I turn my actual career into something that I would actually enjoy and mix those two, marketing and music, and it was just the perfect formula, so that's the direction I want to go in.
And was there a moment in time where it kind of clicked, where like there was a band and...
Actually, yes. I was staying in the same hotel as One Direction when I was in 2012.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, big band. And yeah, it was crazy to see the hysteria, and it wasn't the fact that I wanted to be in their position. I wanted to be more of the person that helped them along to get that recognition. There's just a fire inside from seeing all the paparazzi flashes, and that world just seems so enticing to me. And I was watching their team, like being in their hotel, I saw how their team interacted. It just seemed like a big family environment, and it just seemed like a really nice job to have, going on tour around the world with like a group that becomes your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you actually went on tour. So how did you get your first kind of, with a band, how did you get your first break where you started working with a band?
Well, I first got introduced to a band called Vitamin through another band called Marskins, who I also work with. And I really just liked their sound and the kind of music they were making, so I really wanted to get involved. And I knew I was only in Leeds for 1 year. I had to make the most of it. So I contacted their manager. I made a giant report and just said, here you go, this is what I can do, this is what I'm interested in. If you like it, then I would just like to get any kind of experience you can offer me. And yeah, he went for it, and I really learned a lot through them and through their manager, Sam.
And you actually went on tour with the band?
I went on tour for 2 weeks with the band and the Magic Gang, who are actually from Brighton. So
cool.
Yeah.
Local boys.
Exactly. It was a good tour. Made a lot of friends on that tour, learned a lot as well.
So give us some tips. So you're on tour with a band, and you're playing a gig in Brighton tonight, and you're in charge of the merch stand.
Yes.
You get to the gig. What's your tips?
My number one tip that I learned on tour is getting as much emails as you can every single night.
Right.
And the way Vitamin did that was giving away free tote bags.
And what's a tote bag?
A tote bag is just a very cheap bag that you see a lot of people carrying around with like band names on them.
Okay.
And a lot of these fans had no idea who Vitamin were at the beginning of the night, but everyone wants free stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I don't really like buttons or badges, because if I don't know the band, I'm never going to put that on anything.
Right.
So I really liked how they did tote bags, and everyone was leaving with one, and you could see people on Instagram posting photos with the tote bags.
Okay.
So they got fans through that, and we got emails, like sheets full every single night.
Great. And so from a merch stand, when you're out on tours, because I see merch stands in different places all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're too far away.
Yes.
Other times they're just not involved. Where would you put it, and would you get the band to be involved in the merch at the end of the night?
Absolutely. So where I would put the merch stand is as close to the stage as possible. A lot of the times it wasn't up to us, it was the venue. Some nights I was on a completely different floor.
Oh, really?
And you could tell that just really wouldn't work, because we barely sold any that night. So as close to the stage, and then the bands afterward would actually tell people on stage, I'll be hanging out by the merch stand, come say hi. And the fans would flock over, and that's the way to do it. You want to get involved as well. So. And also, while you're on tour, you want to engage through social media as well. So taking videos during the day, like we were at Brighton Pier, and they were taking photos and posting them on social media.
Yeah.
And fans were mentioning it at night, being like, oh, I saw your photo today.
Yeah.
It's all about adding personality, especially when you're on tour and you're trying to attract these new fans.
That engagement is so,
Exactly.
which we talk about quite a lot, that
Yeah.
engagement. Where I feel like that word engagement crops up pretty much in every video, because today we did a video about performance on stage, and because I keep, like, my job with the management company and just with musicians in general, I'm constantly just watching bands live, whether it's videos or whether it's live, and the amount of people where the engagement with the audience isn't there, then there's the engagement after the crowd isn't enough, and there's always different varying levels of engagement, but I just don't feel bands push it to as far as they could. So there's, on every level, whether it's performance where people go, I'll perform just enough instead of going over and above. When it comes to doing what you said and actually looking after a crowd afterwards, going just absolutely over and above. When it comes to engaging on social media, the amount of times I'll see someone post a video and I'll go, that is a really good video, and then I'll never see it ever again, and I'm like, why aren't you posting this all over the place regularly? Come out with different creative ideas of how you can actually make that post again. So you know, I've done my band's video, rather than just going, here's the video, and then a week later, here's the video again, here's the video. There's got to be creative ways to actually get that content out again and again.
Absolutely.
And again. So when you're posting social media, when you're talking to bands and giving them advice on social media, what's your advice with?
My advice is, it really depends on the platform. Every platform is different. Twitter very much lives in the real time, so you have to tweet a lot more than, say, how often you make a Facebook post. So Facebook posts, I'd say like 1 to 3 times a day. Always include images or videos. I think text posts don't really perform that well. I always push video because, in my personal opinion, it just shows off personality, and people will gravitate towards that much better. Yeah,
I get loads of people who say, I'm not really comfortable on video, it's not my strength, it's not something I want to do. And it's really hard because I don't want to say tough, because it's a really harsh answer. I don't want to say tough shit, you just got to do it. But I want to. I want to say, I know, no one's comfortable on video because nobody is comfortable on video. I mean, when it comes to vlogging, there's this world of people who literally are constantly vlogging to cameras, and when you actually try it, it's really, really hard. Really hard.
Yeah.
And like the amount of things that we do on camera, and I'll do things 5, 6, 7 times, and like, we have the bloopers reel because it's funny, but at the same point, it does show that, like, constantly just doing it again and again. And so being on camera, it can be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But part of me just wants to go, yeah, tough.
Exactly.
because in the year that we live in, video is so key that you can do it, you can build stuff, you can build an audience via great photos, but they have to tell a great story, and it's so hard. Also, it's so much harder with pictures and text than it is with a video.
Absolutely.
It's just that character, the personality, people are just used to that. They literally have videos everywhere. I mean, walking through Times Square and everything's a video, like every building's a video. And so you're actually watching videos in adverts. And so, as we push down that route, I just feel like, yes, it's really difficult to do videos. Yes, it's uncomfortable. No, you don't really want to do it. Tough.
Exactly, and I think it's practice for when you're a big superstar. You'll be doing all these interviews
Absolutely.
Anyway. You have to get comfortable now, because if your ultimate goal is to be successful and massive, you're going to be in front of a camera all the time.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Good
So
point.
just think of it as practice, and you'll get used to it in no time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your stuff that you're doing at the moment, what's your favorite social media for your personal stuff?
I love Facebook, especially now that they're prioritizing video.
Right.
Originally, I was only going to post on YouTube, but I did a lot of research, and it turns out if you post both on Facebook and YouTube, that's the best combination, because they're really good for 2 different reasons. Facebook is very much in the moment. People share your video immediately. You get a lot more views because people are sharing it and it goes on their own timelines. But the problem with Facebook is you can't really search for videos, and it doesn't show up in Google search as well. So that's why you go to YouTube, because it has more longevity. People will find your videos, people can discover them, new fans, so a good combination of the 2.
And you got the library system where you can literally go and find
playlists,
stuff.
yes.
So your stuff, YouTube and Facebook, do you ever do Instagram or that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm actually starting a new Instagram soon where I'm going to be posting quotes by famous musicians.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
so
that,
I'm just integrating a bit of showing off what other musicians are doing.
Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. Tell me, like, you're working with bands over in Canada.
Yes.
But you're coming back.
Yes.
So there'll be bands over in this country, especially up in the north,
Yeah.
that can benefit from you or chatting to you, social media, that kind of online PR, promotion, that kind of stuff. So you're going to be back over here in a couple of months' time,
Right.
based in Leeds up
Yeah.
north. I mean, we have quite a lot of followers who are up north. So how do bands get in touch with you and say, help?
Well, I always encourage people to send me messages on Facebook. I get a lot asking me questions, and they inspire my videos, actually. And I just think you can get help finding your strategy, like what posts will work best, like what kind of content you should be making. But you shouldn't get someone else to do the work for you, because people can see through that.
Yeah.
You have to be authentic. So I can absolutely help you find your strategy, but I'm just going to tell you what you need to do, and then you need to have the motivation to execute it.
And I find that's the frustrating thing. The amount of people that I will get on my Facebook and they'll go, yeah. And I'll go, but you're not doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just told you what to do and you've gone, that's absolutely brilliant. And then a week later I'll go, but you didn't do the thing I told you to do. You just said it. You just said, yes, it's going to work. And one thing which we're talking about doing a few videos the next few days, which frustrates me so much, is probably the biggest question I get is, how do I build my audience? And I just think that people know the answer. I think the answer is you've got to do all the things that you're thinking of right now that you don't want to do.
Too lazy to do.
Yeah, and you just go,
Exactly.
look, you know, for me personally, this is Brighton. There's musicians everywhere. I can look out this window and I could probably see
Yeah.
5 musicians at any point. So, you know, we've had some business cards done, which has just got the social media on, and we're going to do a video probably tomorrow where I literally get out in the street in the freezing cold with 100 business cards, and I just talk to musicians and I go, look, this is what I do, this is who I am, this is my stuff. Do I want to do that? No, fuck no, God, absolutely not.
No.
Don't want to do that. But at the same point,
If you want it, you have to work for it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the bit when people say, how do I grow my audience? And you say, well, you grow your audience by doing all the things that you don't want to do.
Exactly.
You know, for example, from 10 o'clock in the evening until 12 o'clock at night, what are you doing even just to learn social media? I mean, I'm still looking at, you know, I bought a course the other day on Udemy just because I might pick up a couple of little details that
Great
just
platform.
go, yeah, maybe I can just learn a couple of little bits just to improve, or a few tips. And I feel like that learning, and then after that is actually the implementing, which I think was where people fall down. So to go, right, get out and actually do it. Actually go and find these people, or go and, you know, how much money have you got left over at the end of the month? You know, once you've paid all your bills and you've got nothing left over, well, all of that money, why not you put it into experimenting with boosting or advertising or something, and use it as a lost lead to go, yeah, I'm going to lose £100, but I will have £100 more knowledge on the next time I do boosting or the next time I do an advert. So, and I feel like that for me is the key area with musicians that I think they know. I think a lot of the time, I mean, the amount of times that I'll post something and people will go, yeah, absolutely, I think blah, blah. And I go, okay, cool. We'll do it.
Yeah.
And so I find that actual getting people off their arse to do stuff is the toughest.
And I feel like a lot of bands just say, oh, I can't wait one day until I'm signed. They just think that as soon as the money comes in and they have their team behind them, then they'll have it made.
Yeah.
You have to do the work now. You have to do it DIY way, because they'll never notice you if you don't.
Yeah.
They don't want to put their money into something that they're going to have to put so much work into to succeed. You have to show them that you have the power yourself to get your fans, and then they'll sign you.
It's that weird thing of why would they want to put money in if you're not prepared to put the money?
Exactly.
They're looking at it going, well, we'll put the money in something that works, but if you're going, I don't know if this is going to work and I haven't really got the money, so
Yeah.
you know, and lack of money is fine as long as you're putting in all money does is it buys you it means you don't have to be as creative if you've got money. Not saying that you're not, but you don't have to be as creative as if you've got money. But also, it just buys you time. That's the thing. So you just go, well, I can't build up to it. If I go and get a professional photo shoot, if I go and get a professional video shoot, these things are going to cost me money. You know, you can do it without it, but you've got to be a lot more creative, and you're probably going to have to plan it a lot more.
It's an investment. It's like if you were starting any other kind of business. You have to put money in to get the rewards.
Yeah. We're going to put Jenna's details down. I'd like everyone to like her page and, you know, hit her up. Advice. I'm not a social media expert. I'm a strategist. That's my kind of thing, is to help bands strategize what they do. When it comes to social media, I'm still learning, but you know, Jenna's done courses in this stuff. She's actually then taken that and put it into real life. She's put it onto to bands, going out there and actually learning whilst doing it. So you need to hit her up. If you've got any questions on specific social media strategies, I feel like you should definitely hit her up. But thank you so much for coming from Canada.
It's an honor to meet Damo finally. We've been speaking for so long now, it seems.
Great.
Yeah, it's a great chat.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I will see you guys tomorrow, and she'll probably, you post a couple of times a week, don't you?
I do, yes. Yeah.
So she will see you this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Bye.